Hello, everybody. This is Kody from Fishin and Merfolk Podcast. Make sure to check out our podcast everywhere you could find podcasts. So this is iHeartRadio, your Spotify's, your Google Plays, your Apple iTunes, your YouTubes, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast. That's where you can find us. So go check us out. So we're going to be playing this deck we talked about on our most recent episode of Fishin and Merfolk Podcast, episode 42, Something Green. So we are playing with 20 lands, 1 Cavern of Souls. It's pretty okay, you know, normal for Merfolk. We have 14 forests, 14, 15. Yeah, 14 forests. 4 Oran Reef the Vastwood, which comes into play tapped, adds green, and puts a +1/+1 counter on each green creature that entered the battlefield this turn. And 1 of Pendlehaven, just for Jade Bear. Then we also have 4 of Aether Vial. We don't really need to talk about that. 4 of Commander Speaker. It's pretty straightforward. 4 of Jade Bear. Now this is one that's not normally run in Modern. This is one that puts a counter on a creature we control. So on a Merfolk, we control. So that's pretty great. And then Hardened Scales, kind of the card that this deck is built around. It's an enchantment for green, and if 1 or more +1/+1 counters will be put on a creature you control, that many +1/+1 counter are put on it instead. Now this is kind of basically how the rest of the deck works. Deeper Delete and Metallic Mimic both put +1/+1 counters on creatures, so it's a great creature, or on Merfolk rather. Heroic Intervention just makes everything hexproof and indestructible. We then have a playset of Merfolk Branchwalkers and Jade Light Rangers that work really well with Hardened Scales. We also are running 1 of Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, and 3 Collected Company. Pretty simple. We just put a bunch of creatures on, they get a bunch of counters. And then on our sideboard here, we are running 2 Surgical Extractions for Dredge and whatnot. 2 of Relic of Progenitus for basically all the graveyard decks. 2 Guttural Response. I know, Matt, I got the wrong art. I'm sorry. But this one is killing Muldrifter, so I think that's pretty neat. 2 Beast Within to just kill things that we can't get around. So this is like your Ensnaring Bridges, your Giant Flyers. We got to ground them somehow. Shaper Sanctuary is really good. Shaper Sanctuary is really good against removal heavy decks. Lets you basically just draw extra cards off of their removal, so Shaper Sanctuary is pretty sweet. We have 2 of Nature's Claim, which again destroys Ensnaring Bridges. It destroys enchantments. It destroys Oblivion Stones. It's good all around. 1 of Life Goes On as just like an extra buffer for aggro decks or burn decks, and 2 of Blossoming Defense, which is both a protection spell and a pump spell. So we're going to go ahead and get into the league with this deck, so stay tuned. So here we are, game 1 of our mono green Merfolk League. We lost the die roll, so our opponent gets to choose if they want to go first or not. And this is a perfectly serviceable hand. We're not doing anything turn 1 anyway, so we can start off with a Oran Reef the Vastwood and kind of go from there. Alright, Flooded Strand from our opponent. Basic Island, Serum Visions. Alright, so it looks like we're on against like blue-white or Jeskai control. Or maybe Storm. Hopefully not Storm. So full disclosure, this is actually the second league I've run with this deck. I tried another league and I kind of just got ran over 5 games in a row. So I didn't think you guys would want to see me lose 5 games in a row, basically 0-2. And yeah, so that's what happened. Mystic Gate. Another Serum Visions. And they've still got a blue floating. Oh, another Serum Visions. They just did triple serum visions. Okay. I wonder what they're going for. Well, I feel like we need to get something going, and playing either Metallic Mimic or Deeper Delete does not affect how Hardened Scales works, but it does affect us getting creatures on the board. Alright, there's a Plains. So maybe this is just blue-white control. Oh, Gideon. This is an interesting Gideon. To end a turn, prevent all damage that target permanent would deal. Okay, so he's basically just putting a bubble on this Metallic Mimic. It can deal no damage. Okay. Not that it really matters to get Hardened Scales. We're just getting Hardened Scales down, basically. Hardened Scales. Oh, cancel. Undo. Yeah, so we want green for Hardened Scales while they're not able to counter anything. And then green, and it doesn't matter. So basically it would enter with a counter from this Metallic Mimic because of the ability, and it gets another counter from the Hardened Scales. So, and attacking with the Metallic Mimic does nothing, so we'll just go ahead and pass the turn. Timely reinforcements. Alright, gain 5 life, get 3 1/1s. Alright, so we can Jade Light Ranger and then Oran Reef the Vastwood. Or we can Vial. I think we should Vial and then Jade Light Ranger. I mean, because there's a chance we just whiff on Jade Light Ranger. I mean, we're not going to whiff. Like, it's going to get a counter. It at least gets 2 counters from the Metallic Mimic. We're going to put the second one in the graveyard. Alright. And we're not going to attack in just because this Metallic Mimic, I don't want it to die. It's doing a very good job of putting counters on creatures. Yep, he bubbles the 8/7. We can still block with it, which is really great. Alright, Hero of Dominaria. Okay, so he's going to draw and then untap 2 lands. Makes sense from our opponent there. Yep, we're going to put a counter on Aether Vial. Yes. Alright, we got another land. Alright, so Jade Light Ranger enters, gets a counter from the Metallic Mimic. Alright, we got a Jade Bear. Alright, so we've got another 8/7. And we're going to put 2 counters on the Metallic Mimic. And we're going to go ahead and attack at Teferi. Because basically, if he does not block, then he is done. I'm going to leave up. Because that would give it 2 more power, but our opponent does have board wipes, so we do want to keep this heroic intervention, which I do believe will be quite good against this deck. Should they get their board wipe online? Okay. He pluses to Fairy. Okay. So he bubbled this Jade Light Ranger. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter which one. Okay. So we're going to be getting... yes, we would like to put another counter. There's Jade Bear, of course. So Jade Bear will get a counter itself. We'll get to put a counter on something from Deep-Root Elite. So we'll go ahead and put a counter on Metallic Mimic. And then the Jade Bear trigger will put the counter on Deep-Root Elite. Unfortunately, we can't really attack with a whole bunch of stuff. Let me actually look up the wording on Settle the Wreckage real quick. I just want to make sure. Exile, okay, exile all attacking creatures. So we'll just attack with 1. Because I don't really want to lose my board here. And this Gideon, its ultimate doesn't necessarily matter, because it's just about killing the Gideon. This emblem matters. So I just don't know what our opponent can have. That's the issue we're dealing with here. So yeah, we just have an Aether Vial over here. The spell can't be countered. Destroy all creatures. That's neat. Permanents. Gain hexproof and indestructible. I don't... Is he gonna negate it? That looks like is what's about to happen. No? I mean, we have to... Okay. Yep, we cannot pay 3. Nope. That is not good for us. Well, blue-white did it. Nope. Alright, a forest, and pass the turn. That is one thing I do not like about this deck, is it has a lower creature density. So your threat count is a little bit lower. Coco would be really nice. Yep. Hit me for 4. Mishra's Bauble. So they can draw an extra card. Snapcaster Mage. Probably to flashback timely reinforcements. Oh. Okay. So our opponent flashes back Serum Visions. Opponent sacks their Mishra's Bauble. Let's see what we draw. If we draw another land, I'm not going to be super happy. So yeah, our opponent draws another card. Okay. Well, that does stink. So, we want Guttural Response. I mean, Beast Within destroys a permanent. I actually kind of like that. Shaper Sanctuary, I'm not so sure on. The removal they have is basically Path to Exile, so I don't think that that's worth it enough. Let's see what we can take out. Let's do that. And we'll take out one vial. So take out 3 Collected Company and 1 vial for 2 Guttural Response and 2 Beast Within. Okay, I'm fine with this. And let's see what our opponent does. So, I mean, we're going to get Vial down, and we'll catch up with Cometa Speaker and Deeper Delete, hopefully, if we get another land. Definitely want to get another land. Our opponent plays a Hallowed Fountain, just lets it in tapped. Alright. So there's Cometa Speaker, and we played an Oran Reef, the Vastwood. Mind Stone from our opponent. We're going to go ahead and pop in our Cometa Speaker here. Put a counter on Aether Vial, of course, because we are a Merfolk deck, and why wouldn't we? So we're going to put in Deeper Delete and then Jade Light here, because I want to get as many counters on these as I can. We basically just want to pop them for as much damage as we can. As quickly as we can. So we hit our opponent for 5 on turn 3, which isn't terrible. Our opponent's definitely going to be looking for... Okay, our opponent's going to opt. Our opponent is opting to opt. Alright, we are not going to tick up here. But getting a second 2-drop would be sweet. We're going to put the counter on the Deeper Delete. Merfolk. Basically spread out the damage as much as we can. I mean, we're going to be super punished if we run into a board wipe next turn. But unfortunately, we kind of got to... So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage. That puts him to 3. Alright. Oh no, I forgot to... it would have only put a counter on the... oh, they're down to 2. Let's see if they hit that 4th land. Well, I guess they have the Mind Stone. So they can Wrath of God right now. If they... Yep, there's the verdict. Alright, there's our 2 damage. I actually think maybe we should have taken out the hardened scales. I know that that's kind of the theme of the deck. Okay. Nope. Okay, let's go ahead and swing. Gotta. And it's incredibly... Yep, path to exile. I was gonna say it's incredibly likely that they just have the path and we're just dead to a path. But I mean, we should definitely have taken out hardened scales. Hardened scales is just a dead draw. Snap to opt makes sense. Opponent plays a Misty Rainforest. Alright, they're down to 1. But I mean, if they play a Teferi, we'll have a hard time. Yep, there's Teferi. Because at least right now, they don't have any reason to attack. They can... I mean, they can. They can just kind of sit behind Teferi. We do not want that. All our things will be ultra protected. Should we need them to be. I definitely need to be more patient when I play against blue-white. Yep. So we need to draw one of our Beast Withins. We are just dead here. Oh well. We'll go into game 2 and see if maybe we can get there. It was definitely a mistake to not leave in the Cocos, just because there are counter spells. We need ways to get creatures onto the battlefield, and that's a good way to do it. So we'll go into game 2 and we'll see you there.